Well, Don, badgers are quite relatively large land mammals, and they have quite large sets that are quite distinctive, I think, sometimes, aren't they? And an ecologist ought to be able to find badgers if he's surveying a site, shouldn't he? I just wondered, do you think they're ever missed by surveys?
Well, the point is the surveys are adjusted to suit the developer, aren't they? If you're going to take his money or his shilling or whatever you like to call it, then you have to do it so that it bends its way towards what you feel the developer wants. Whereas a proper survey, there's about 1921 different identification ways for badgers. In other words, you can use sand pads, and it really takes about 3 weeks to 4 weeks to do a little area properly. You've got to find out where they're going for water during droughts. That's how you would do it properly. You use one double-sided tape if you want to check whether what animal's going through a little hole in the hedge line and things like that, and it goes on like that. It's boring, but it's very interesting doing the whole thing. You can tell for exactly when a badger set entrance, and I would use the word entrance rather than set, is last used.
Really?
Yes, because first of all badgers go and collect bedding.
Right.
And in the grass there's seeds, isn't there?
Yeah.
Right? The seeds are dropped and they start to germinate when the badgers bring the bedding out.
That's
So
fascinating,
one,
isn't it?
you can see a germinating seed. Two, when the grass grows up, and so you can say, oh well, that's been there 2 months, 3 months. They're using it, but there might be ivy, moss, all sorts of things inside the tunnel. You can tell so much. And if somebody bulldozed the site over, you can tell where the badger sets are or was. We had a case at Battle where they, and when we went there, I said, well look, you can see, because the soil that the badgers brought out, when the bulldozer goes away, there's the two colours in the soil. Do you follow how it changes?
Yeah, I can understand that.
There's so many honest ways you can tell what's going on exactly. And of course, if you get one of the identification point, if you get a little sycamore seed, different heights and one thing and another, you can tell when they were.
That's great.
You follow when they were that put the drop there, I should say.
That's great.
Yeah,
but how many hours do they actually spend in these surveys?
Well,
do you think?
badgers, it's generally recognised that badgers spend 9 hours below ground to everyone above ground.
Right.
Now, what we've found over the years, if there's a problem and you start feeding, we've done survey work and carried on and done a project. Quarry Hill was a good example. We put the badgers' straw there, so because the idea was it shifted in their set to right to the back and one thing another, and food. What happens normally is if you start feeding badgers, they will, or they get new supplies of food, we'll say, their activity rises a bit.
Right.
Yeah, so badgers, if there's no food or very little about, so a lot of badger sets that people say, oh, there's no badgers there, blah, blah, blah. That's quite often untrue, especially in the winter time, because badgers often put sticks and straw and pieces of leaves, block their set entrances up, and they sleep behind, quite a way inside there, behind the park, because they don't like drafts like we do, and keep the set warm.
There's a lot more of the set is underground, isn't it?
Yes, there's a lot. On one occasion, and this is in the country park, because I put up the original way markers, those big
Oh, did
square
you?
blocks of wood.
Oh,
And we
yeah,
got
I know
that,
them, yeah.
years ago, and one hole we dug was right in the middle of a badger tunnel in front of the Coast Guard station. So by the time we sorted it all out and got it right, it was 70 metres from the nearest entrance.
Gosh.
Yes. That,
Wow.
well, you see what they do. The badgers follow sand lenses, right?
Mm.
And of course, if the sand lens goes on and on
The
over the
badgers will
years,
carry on.
and
Wow.
of course the sand holds a
Mm.
lot of air,
Yeah.
and the badgers don't, use like us. They don't. They can shut their breathing requirements right down. And I did another survey work project at the powder mill pumping station for the firm when they altered the pipe work there, and there was one entrance was about 50-60 metres away from the set, the bedding chamber.
Wow.
Yes, they're a lot longer than people imagine. It's all to do with conditions, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
we all are like that. If our garden grows fantastic grapes, well, we're going to plant a lot of grapes, aren't we?
that's
If it
yes.
doesn't grow grapes at all, we're going to stop growing them.
That's
All animals take advantage of what the conditions they find themselves in.
I think you're very knowledgeable. I thank you very much for that.